screen, dorking out. It's not working well. StreamYard's got to get better at it, but we'll play. Dude, fun topic today, podcasting. Woo, I am such a proponent of people starting a podcast. I cannot tell you how important a podcast can be for all of you. And many people, even in the comments before we got live today, were telling me that they were scared of it, super scared of it, or didn't understand it, or don't have time for it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let me break down the power of podcast and why you should be doing it, but maybe not doing it the way you think. So don't overthink this when I talk about it here. Let's just dive into what is the purpose of a podcast, okay? Think about it for a second. What's the purpose? Why would you put out content? Why is podcasting one of the most listened to mediums in the world today? Always, Sean Farrell, this guy, one of the best originators in the country, continues to just, speak the truth of what everyone feels. So why is podcasting such a great medium? Why? Do you know why? It's obvious, but you should know why. It's authentic. Yes, it can be produced and scripted and blah, 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 but it's like real humans. Guys, we're so tired of the marketing bullshit, aren't we? We're so tired of it. We don't want it anymore. So people gravitate toward podcasts because we like to listen to things. How many of you guys listen to things in the background while you're doing work? Yes, I know. So many of you listen to it, and it's such a great medium. Okay, so we recognize it's authentic, it's raw, everyone's listening to something, and there's an opportunity for you to dive into the space. So before we get into this question, Sean, because everyone overthinks it, let me break down some basic stuff for you guys right now. I joked about this in my text, but have you been on a Zoom call? Do you know how to hit the record button on a Zoom call? Do you know after you're done recording the Zoom call, not only do you have a video file, but you also have an audio file, which means you're done. You just made a podcast. You sent somebody a link. They clicked it. You had a conversation on record. We're going to get this, Sean, right now. I'm telling you right now. Okay, here's how you run a podcast. Here's how you do a podcast right now. Technically, you download Zoom onto your computer. You invite people into that Zoom to have a conversation with you. What I recommend, according to John, is absolute. We'll get into what the podcast should be about, but let me show you what a good example is. You bring on somebody into the Zoom. You have a conversation. Maybe you bring them on for 5 minutes to 10 minutes before you hit record to kind of prep the conversation. You have a conversation with that person. At the end, after you've hit record, a screen pops up. Guess what's on it? An audio file and a video file. You now have a vlog, a video, whatever, a video podcast, a vlog cast, whatever, and you have the audio cast. Now look at this. Look at this. I'm going to share my screen. Let's do this. I'm going to show you how to do it, like right now. I'm totally cheating. Okay, let's make sure you can see this. Excellent. So this is, I'll shrink myself. This is what I use, guys. This is Simplecast. Okay. You can see right here my analytics in the last 7 days. I've had 242 podcasts. Here's my latest podcast. This is not complicated. You go to add episode right here. Boop, boop, add episode. Title. Drag your audio file right there where it says audio file that you got from Zoom. Fill out the rest of the information. Put a summary. Add a picture, I guess, if you care. Don't worry about it. And hit save and post. Inside here, guys, right here, show distribution. You can pick where to distribute your podcast. So many people are like, I don't have the right microphone. I'm like, shut up with your stupid excuses. You have Zoom, you have Simplecast. It costs like $300 a year. You can put it. Sorry, Bill, I'll take you off. I love you, bro. And then you have a podcast now on Apple Podcasts. Stop making excuses for the love of the Lord. It's just like now you see how easy this is? It's that easy. And by the way, go watch this again on YouTube if you didn't take notes fast enough. You can just do it again and you're set. So the question isn't, should you start a podcast? The answer is yes. And if you want more information on this, I just did a social media collab for 3.5 hours. I put myself in a seat and brought on experts. You see some links in there to like talk to my bot, or if you're on my Facebook business page, type in #podcast, and go watch my 30-minute interview with Phil Treadwell, who's run a podcast for 2 years, and just watch how it changed his whole career, how he got more control of his business. So click on the Talk to My Bot link if you're watching this on YouTube or on LinkedIn, or if you're on my business Facebook, type in #podcast and go watch this thing and realize, oh my God, you're missing an opportunity. Now that I've stripped away all the bullshit that it's so easy to do, this is so easy to do. Let's go and talk about what you should do it about. Okay? I'm telling you, you just start with Zoom and upload the audio recording to Simplecast. Podcast done. Now, if you're like, get a mic. Like, my mic's down by the ground, by the way. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Why didn't anybody tell me my audio sucked? You know, you're supposed to be my friends. And you didn't tell me that my mic's on the ground. So now I'm disappointed in you. Shame. Yes, watch later. And if you're watching this later, I hope you're getting how easy this is. Do a Zoom call with somebody, have a conversation for 30 to 45 minutes, take the audio, upload it to Simplecast, and send it out to all the places you've selected. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, great. Now you have a podcast. Congratulations. Now you go to Fiverr.com. You go to a podcast cover, and you pay someone $5 to take a picture of you and make it look like a podcast cover with like a cartoon, or you could be like, podcast with Alec. I don't care, whatever it is. And now you have a cool graphic on top of your podcast, and it costs you $5 and Zooms. And so yes, it's that easy. Now, what should it be about? Okay, for the rest of this conversation, what should it be about? Anything that you are passionate about, that there is a community of other people that is also passionate about this. Also passionate about this. Okay, let me say that again. Your podcast should be about anything that you are passionate about, where there is also a community of people that you want to influence that are passionate about the same thing. I know. If you're a loan professional and you're like, I need to make it about mortgages. No, you don't. You can. You for sure can. You can make it about sales, which connects to tons of people who are in sales. But you don't have to make it about mortgage. If you're not on fire about mortgage topics, like you just wake up burning, light out of the eyes. By the way, I have my light out of the eyes one. Where is it? Hold on. Yes. If you don't wake up like this every day to talk about mortgages, don't do it about mortgages. Okay. It does not. Again, I'm going to point to one of our great loan officers up in Seattle who's doing a podcast about adult baseball leagues. Adults that play baseball in leagues. It's called The Comebacker. Yes, everyone knows he does mortgages, and yes, everyone knows he's amazing. But do they care about adult baseball leagues? He's bringing on refs and other people and teammates and talking about this. And guess what's happening? He's creating human connection at scale across the country, because podcasts don't have geography limitations. Anyone can listen anywhere in the world, especially in the country. And he's making an impact. Guys, I've told this before, but I'll say it again. You could do a podcast about your city, interviewing the great business owners and politicians and small business owners that run around your community. You could bring on your favorite restaurant, have them talk about why they started a business and what hurdles are they overcoming and how can the community help them during COVID. You could be the digital mayor with a podcast. By the way, you want to have a pro tip? I'm going to bring the mic right here because it's a super pro tip. You ready? Are you ready? Everyone wants to talk about themselves. I know. It's incredible. So you go to somebody and you say, hey, would you like to talk about yourself for 30 to 45 minutes? They say yes, dude. Phil, if you, again, click the link and talk to my bot and go watch this 30-minute video with Phil Treadwell, or type in #podcast if you're watching this on my Facebook business page. And holy crap, he would just invite random people that were power players in his world to come on a podcast to spread knowledge. And even though they were like, who are you and what do you do and what's this podcast you're doing? They were like, yeah, I'd love to come talk about myself for an hour. How can I do it tomorrow? Like right away? Guys, It is so easy. And then yes, after you get going, after you get excited, after you realize the power of connecting humans and the influence it gives you, you can talk about getting a Rodecaster 9000 and the $300 Shure mic so you can be Joe Rogan, and then you can go all in. Sure. But everyone's frozen. They're like, I got to get the right gear, and I got to have a caster, and I got to have a producer, and how do I get this thing? Go to Zoom. Record yourself talking to somebody else. Download the audio portion, upload it to Simplecast, and it will distribute it for you. All that's done for like less than $400 a year. Scott, this is what I'm talking about. This is 1000% what I'm talking about. Check it out. So my podcasts that are now live, right? I do live podcasts every Thursday. This not this Thursday because there's a holiday, but every Thursday. And then I have, 30 to 50 to sometimes, and when Anthony Shea came on, 100 some plus people watching live. And then guess what? I take the audio and I re-release it as a podcast. Scott, absolutely. Your weekly acting series with Sam is absolutely now a podcast. You always had one. You always had one. You just weren't publishing it. I don't know how else to say this. It is so freaking easy. And if you are excited about what you're talking about, you can absolutely have a space in the world to create community. And with community comes influence, and with influence comes opportunity. Start a freaking podcast and have fun with it. Don't you want to have fun in your business? Do you want to go to your home? Have fun. Do it about something you're passionate about. If it's about entrepreneurship, great. Do it about that and bring on entrepreneurs and get connected into their sphere. I joke about this, but picture for yourself. If you're going to do it about your city and town that you love and you live there for a long time, and your favorite restaurant or bar is down the street, and you go to the owner and you go, look, I want to host you on my podcast. The owner says, who are you and what are you doing? And you say, I'm starting a city-based podcast. I want you to be my first guest. And I just want to share stories from successful businesses and business owners and let them talk to the community. I'm passionate about this. By the way, I have a database of 2,000 people I've done loan for in the city. I'm going to send this to all of them. They're all going to know about how amazing your restaurant is. And I'm also going to post it on my social channels. And here's my reach. I have this many Facebook friends, this many LinkedIn connections, this many people on Instagram. And I'm going to send all this out and share about your restaurant. That owner's going to say, abso-freaking-lutely. Do it right now. Do it live. Put it on there. You send them a Zoom link. You spend 10 minutes talking about the questions you're going to ask. You can even send them the questions before, like, why'd you start your restaurant? What's your favorite food here? What hurdles did you overcome? Where are you going next? And then you end it with, how can we help you as your community in this time of COVID? Not only can you send that out to everybody, but he is going to send it out to his entire community. And yes, you're sitting there as a loan professional. You don't need to show it off. You don't need to have a commercial brought to you by Alec from Loan Depot, and I'm the best at loans. You could just share it freely, openly, create influence, create opportunity. He's going to do the same thing as the restaurant owner. You're going to get massive influence and opportunity, and you're going to realize, holy crap, untapped opportunity here, and you're going to go all in. By the way, for those of you scared about having a podcast, guess what? You don't have to talk the whole time. You don't even have to talk most of the time. You can introduce your guest and then ask questions and sit there and be like, so what do you think? And they'll talk. Dramatic pause for the sad frustration I have that so many of you that are watching this are not going to do shit. Moment of silence. Oh, but how many of you are already doing stuff like Scott? Now you realize, holy crap, I have a podcast I've been doing the whole time. Scott, go back to your other episodes you've already done. Pull the audio. You've got a library now, dude. That's so cool. That's power. This is a no-brainer. This is a no freaking brainer. Do it about something you like, as long as there's other people that like that thing too. If you're so niched, you're never going to get there. But if you just have something like, this is low-hanging fruit, guys. This is origination strategy. This is influence building. And you're going to have a lot of fun with it. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. Trust me. It's going to be something you look forward to, not something you're afraid of. Now, the last piece of this, the real opportunity. Phil dives into this. And again, if you're watching this on my Facebook business page, hit hashtag podcast. or if you're on Facebook in general, my friend's Facebook, my YouTube. Oh, Keegan, I'm going to answer this for you, dude. I'm going to answer this. If you're on YouTube, click the link that says talk to my bot. Go watch the video with Phil Treadwell, because here's the crazy power. A 30 to 45 minute to an hour podcast. Inside that podcast, it's called Pillar Content. And Sean, if you hit hashtag bypass, but you're watching on my personal Facebook, it's probably not going to work. You're going to have to find the link up there. But if you're, it's called Pillar Content. Pillar Content is long form content that you can take and snip up into smaller pieces of content. Smaller pieces of content. Holy crap. Let me give you an example of something crazy on where this can go. I said this 1,000 times. Let's say you produce a 2-minute video talking about how much down payment you need to buy a house as a first-time home buyer. A 2-minute video. That's a great topic. Lots of first-time home buyers don't know how much down payment they need. 2 minutes, you bust it out. You put the video out. You go to rev.com, rev.com. It takes $2 for every 2 minute, for every minute, $1 a minute. 2 minutes is 2 minutes. They'll transcribe your 2-minute video. They will give you back the text. You fix it a little bit, check it out. Now, all of a sudden, you've got an article to post on LinkedIn or Facebook. Then you can take that 2-minute video, condense it down to 3 sentences, and now you have a tweet. You can take a picture of that tweet, and now you have an Instagram post. On a 2-minute video, I just created 4 to 5, if you're created, pieces of content. On a 2-minute video, we just created right here 4 to 5 pieces of content that you can post across multiple mediums. Now, guess what? You just filmed a 45-minute video and audio podcast. How many pieces of content can you create from that? There's a great comment at the very beginning, and I'm getting called, so he gets red phoned. This one. Matt, I don't even know if he's watching, but when I posted I was going to be talking about this, he says, I can't even commit to watching a podcast. And I said, hey, it's listening, but I hear you. And I can't pay attention that long. And I'm joking. I'm going, yeah, you're right. You're right. Not everybody. Your podcasts aren't going to be that fucking amazing. I'm sorry. I try not to use the F word. It's like too much. I'm super sorry. I get fired up on this. They're not going to watch it. They're not going to watch it. Your podcast is not going to be that amazing. But what's going to happen over time is you're going to build community, and people are going to be like, yes, I resonate with this. I see this. This person keeps showing up. So you can continue to post pieces of your podcast, snippets. Like I did a podcast with Rene Rodriguez, this guy. He's an incredible thought leader. This guy's amazing. I did a 45-minute podcast with him. So many nuggets dropped throughout the entire show. I had my guy writing down I walked back and wrote down, and then I've been re-releasing clips and snippets from Rene because he dropped all this knowledge. So do I expect someone to listen to all 45 minutes? Kind of. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I know they're not. And so I continue to share it. And now I have more things to talk about over time because I made a long piece of content. All of you can do this. You're all doing it right now. Yes, I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're just not doing it. And it makes me mad because I wasn't doing it either. And now that I realize that that the power of this, I'm on fire because you could be doing it too. Dude, Skip, the Ready for Remodel show is a podcast. It's just not being put out on the podcast channels. Here's another, not excuse. This is not going to be an excuse, but my son's trying to bust in here. This is a good question. Because, son, I'm on a live show right now. I'm sorry. By the way, this is going to sound, I'm going to nerd myself out here. He's looking at me all sad. I'm not good at Dungeons and Dragons. I've never played it. I don't know what it is really, except that you make up stories and then you play. And I've been playing with my kids in a made up way. And now I'm literally the dungeon master. And I don't even know what I'm doing. So if you play Dungeons and Dragons, please help me because I don't know what I'm doing. But let's go here. Here's another, not excuse, because Keegan, I don't think you meant it that way, but I got before, I don't know the gear to use. And I'm like, stop using gear, just use your camera and do Zoom. And they're like, oh, you take away my excuse. And then you've got this. Where do I get graphics? Guys, don't worry about graphics yet. I told you, go to Fiverr.com. And on Fiverr.com, you can pay anybody anything to make you anything. But if you want to make your own graphics, Like, should you start like this graphic right here that I made this graphic? It's not good. It's not good. But I made it and I don't care. And we're just doing it because you got to play the game. And I did all this with Canva, Canva. And if you want, I can send you a full tutorial on how to use Canva to create your own podcast. It's not hard. It's not hard. Not that Keegan's doing this, because I love that you're asking, but you can go to Fiverr and have someone create it for you. You can learn Canva in 2 seconds. I'm not technically capable, and I learned it. Should show you what's going on. But like, everybody's making an excuse not to start. Keegan is not making an excuse. They're asking a great question, but I'm telling you, like, I don't have the right gear. Shut up. You don't need it. You just need a mic and Zoom. How do I get graphics? Fiverr.com or learn on Canva. Does it bring more business? Yes. Yes, the question is, this is the question. This is the question. If you want to know how it transformed Phil Treadwell's career, go type in hashtag podcast, or scroll up on Facebook or YouTube and click the link that says talk to my bot. I'll take you to my 30-minute conversation with Phil on how his whole life was transformed by a podcast he started. I got my guy up in Seattle doing a podcast on adult men's baseball league. I asked him, how much of your business is coming from your podcast now? He literally said, all of it. And it's the community he wants to be a part of. So it's the other baseball leaguers that he's doing loans for. And look, I've heard so many people use the question. I've seen so many loan officers say, I just don't want to bend the knee anymore to my realtor community. And I have a couple questions on that, or comments on that. Number one, my dad taught me early on one of the best pieces of advice. I was running around talking to realtors in my early origination days, and I was so frustrated because some of them were so, to me, and by the way, I'm a 23-year-old, like, recent grad. So I'm like, these people are all entitled. They just want me to pay them or bring them cookies. Like, I'm a college graduate. I have value. And I was getting all snotty, and I know some of you right now feel me on this. And my dad sat me down. He said, son, I got an important lesson to teach you, because I was complaining to him. He's like, look, in business, in life, you got to serve somebody. And I was like, and I realized that I was being an egotistical little punk, and you got to serve somebody. And so our great realtor partners that are out there, you can bend the knee and learn to serve them. And the other side of service is wealth and opportunity. Or you can start a podcast and serve your community in a different way. Again, if it's about you, you will fail. If it's about others, you will dominate. And so my question is for you, who do you want to serve? Pick your poison. But whether it's our real estate community partners, or you want to serve your community in a podcast, or adult men's baseball leagues, or the adult Dungeons and Dragons community that apparently I have to join, I don't care. Just find the one that you connect with and that you're passionate about, and where there is a passionate group of people. And Tammy, it will bring you unbelievable opportunity. It's not about being a social media influencer per se. I mean, I know I talk a lot about influence, but there are social media influencers, right? That's a thing. Like, it's gross, but like, it's a thing. I'm not talking about that type of influence. I'm not talking about a cute selfie picture with an ice cream cone and like at the beach. I'm talking about you being in a place of influence as a connector of human beings. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You feel me? That's what influence is about. My Slack is exploding right now, so I got to close it because it's just deep. Can you all hear the beeping at the end? Yeah, goodbye. Whew, does this make sense, team? Like, is this accessible? Do you get how obvious this is? This is so good. Mike, I'm buying a property with a couple acres of avocado trees, and I don't know anything about growing avocado trees. Would you listen to a podcast about me learning how to grow avocados? No, because I don't care about avocado trees. Are there people that do? Find the community of people that do. No, Stacy, this is the class. Woo! This is the class on starting a podcast. Or you can scroll up a little bit since you're on LinkedIn, and you can go to the Talk to My Bot link, and you can go watch a 30-minute how-to podcast with me and the podcast master, Phil Treadwell. The guy is amazing, and you can learn exactly how to do a podcast. But this is my point, Mike. Like, if there is a passionate community that you are also passionate about, now you have a podcast. Now you have a podcast. You will absolutely be killing it. Podcast topic right here, Sean. Guac is extra. Mike, you're welcome. You can say I'll send you an invoice for the amazing consulting you just got. But guys, team, this is so accessible. It's so accessible. You do not need the crazy gear. You do not need all of the mixer boards and all the noise and all the stuff. You just need to find a topic you're passionate about. Oh, this is it. This is it, Tammy. This is the question everyone's gonna have right now, where they're gonna freeze up and be and not that you're doing this, Tammy, but it's a great place for everybody to kind of come into. Every time I talk about going live or doing a podcast, it all comes back to this. Every time. Guys, I have had podcasts where I have 0 people watching live. 0 people. There's what sucks is there's a little eyeball up here and I can see who's watching, and then it changes. And it'll go from like right now we're at 14 people. 14 people. Up 13. Dang it. It doesn't matter. We're such a like culture. Like, I didn't get enough likes. I didn't get enough engagement. Stop judging. You have to ask yourself 2 questions if you're not getting any engagement, if no one's watching. First of all, they're going to watch later. Like, I got a comment up here by a good friend of mine who I know watches a bunch of my stuff. And he goes, Alec, I have a conference call with a client, but we'll watch this on YouTube later. Love you. That's the truth. People are busy. You all are busy. I don't expect everyone to be like, holy crap, Alec's live. I got to stop all my stuff and just immediately, gosh, please, guys, do you understand? You're not the center of the universe. I'm not the center of the universe. Understand that, and then that frees you up to just be you and share and contribute. And you're missing out on the. They're going to watch it later on their time. And the second question you have to ask is, have I worked hard enough to build a community? Have I worked hard enough to build a community? If you have 2 Facebook friends, then no one's going to watch. If you have 5,000 that you've worked really, really hard on in connecting and engaging and commenting and making it a 2-way street. I joke about this all the time. Your podcast / your video, if it's about you and if you're not engaging with other people, then they're not going to engage back, period. That's also why podcasts are so powerful, because it isn't about you the whole time. You're interviewing somebody. You're having a conversation and a dialogue. It's not a monologue. And a dialogue creates more opportunity, more connection. It is so powerful. I have no doubt you will absolutely kill it. You just got to let go. You got to let go of the result. You got to have a posture of hands open, and you got to keep driving forward. Once you realize that's the power, you'll realize, oh my gosh, here we go. And once you realize that, am I engaging enough with other people? Is this a 2-way conversation, or is it all about my content? As soon as you realize it's a 2-way conversation, the power starts to flow back towards you. Guys, my encouragement for all of you today, right now, should you start a podcast? 1,000% yes. It's so easy. You don't need good gear. You need a mic, camera, light, basics. You need Zoom, and you can pay $300 a year for Simplecast. And now you can push out your audio part of your Zoom to all the platforms. You can go to Fiverr.com. They can make you a cool graphic to be your cover page of your podcast, and you're done. Just focus on what you care about and make sure there's a community that cares about it too. That's it. Love you guys. Appreciate you hanging out with me today for almost 30 minutes. Again, if you want to watch the podcast with Phil Treadwell, we crush it. You'll learn everything about podcasting. You'll get so inspired, I'm telling you. Type in #podcast if you're watching this on my Facebook business page. If you're watching on my personal page, I love you. If you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn, you got to find the comment I put in that says, talk to my bot. Click that, and he will take you to my 30-minute conversation with Phil Treadwell on the power of podcast. It's going to blow your mind. No more excuses. I'll see you on the podcast network. Have a great day, everybody.